Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my Kingdom Hearts boss ranking from 65 to 1. I know it's been so long, it's been over a month, I'm so sorry for the wait. It's just been harder with these last 30. And then the inconveniences, this series was going to be 3 parts, but I just realized I can't have it longer than 60-minute videos, and I realized that the second video is way longer than 60 minutes, and I was going to have 30 to 1 in one part, and I'm really like bummed out that I can't. So this is going to be a 3-part series. This part is going to be going from 30 to 11, and then the final part will be the top 10 boss fights. I think that was the best way to do it. Again, really sorry for the inconvenience. I just realized this now. I finished the editing, I'm like, oh, it's not letting me upload it if it's more than 60 minutes, so I'm really sorry for it. Thank you guys for so much love on the first video, hitting 80 views. I know that's nothing like amazing, but it is to me, like, because I've never had like a video with that many views. But yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. I'm a bit bummed out about that, but so it is going to be 3 parts now. This is part 2, 30 to 11. It should be fine. But I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe, and hope you enjoy. On to number 30. Number 30, The Experiment. Where do I start with this one? First of all, the concept of this fight is just really cool. Like, you know, you set him up and hit the presence and you ambush him. And I just think his moveset complements how he is. Like, this fight is very, very unpredictable. This is also another fight I definitely hated as a kid. But like, I just love how weird it is. Like, it's a very fight where I just never know what's happening. Like, he just is wanking, all his moves are weird, like the laser, the vacuum. I always did find the second phase of this fight not as fun though, to be honest. Oh, this phase where he's like in this little mode where he's just spinning, like, it's just, I mean, it goes with the randomness, but I always just found this kind of boring because you just smash triangle. Probably why it's not higher, and this part of the fight's really easy, but I really have always loved the phase at the start. But still, this fight is really cool. Like, I still do like the form changes, but that is probably why it's not maybe higher, because it is just a bit too predictable. But yeah, I just love how random this fight is, and it just really suits the boss. The move with the lasers just going everywhere is definitely my favorite. But yeah, this fight is just, it is weird, but a really good, decent fight, to be honest. And all the Halloween Town fights are really good, but this is actually the weakest one. That's the main boss fight. But hey, this is still an awesome boss. On to number freaking, what's it called? 29. Number 29. Another Pete, but this is the second time you probably fight Pete, Classic Pete. And in my opinion, this is definitely the best version of the Pete fight. There's so many reasons why. Oh, well, there's a lot of reasons why. But one reason is I love the change of scenery. Like, you know, before when you're in the world, you change sceneries. Pete does as well, and it just feels the most Pete-like. Also, having Classic Pete beating up, having past Pete beating up future Pete is just also awesome, even though past Pete cannot fight at all and always is getting his ass whooped. I just really like this fight. He also uses sometimes the elements against you. For instance, here, he's actually using the fire from the skyscraper to attack you. Like, I just really like the change of scenery. And it's not even that hard of a fight. Honestly, probably the first Pete fight, in my opinion, is a bit more challenging because you got the enemies. But I've always found this fight just really awesome in the sense of how he just changes scenery and how the gameplay changes. I don't know, I just really like this fight. Like, I definitely think this is the best Pete fight in the Kingdom Hearts series. The reason it's probably not any higher because other than like the scenery, him using the scenery as attacks, he actually doesn't really have any other extensive new movesets, so that's kind of a downfall. It's not like a big deal, but yeah, he doesn't have any new assets for like the boss fight, in the sense that's not the fire flames. But other than that, this fight's really awesome, and I love the final part of this fight where you're just flying and knocking him and beating him. But yeah, that's Pete 29, like second Pete in Timeless River. On to 28. Number 28, Prison Keeper. Oop, and he just ate a child. I love, like, this concept of this fight. Like, I think it's one of the coolest Heartless designs. And I also just love how his abilities depend on what kid he eats. For instance, if he eats Lock, he shoots fireballs. If he shoots Shock, he goes in the end, does a spiral or freaking ballerina spin with, like, these purple shots. And if he does Barrel, he scratches you. I just think the whole, like, it's just very unique. And this is another fight I used to really dislike as a kid. But the more I've played it, I've definitely just grown to love this fight, like, quite a lot. Like, it's still, my only gripe against this fight, probably the only gripe, is it is a bit, slow. It's like, you have to be patient. But I still love the fight. Also, I love especially Shock's part, even though this is the most ragey, attack, I just, as a kid especially, I love when he just, you know, spins and does those purple shots. I also just find it quite cool that we actually fight him on Curly Hill. Like, I've always found that very awesome, because I never a place I thought we'd fight a boss, but it was really cool that we did in Curly Hill. Yeah, just the whole concept, and like, this fight is just, it's really fun. And then he gets very aggressive at the end when he eats all the kids, as he has just done. That's when the fight really gets interesting. But yeah, I just love the thing, but I just can't believe Disney actually allowed us to just see kids getting eaten. But yeah, number 28 is Prison Keeper. On to number 27. Number 27, Vexen. Let me just say, as a kid, I struggled on this fight so much. Data and Absence Light, but especially Data, because I didn't know Fire was really good against this guy. I had no idea. So it's still honestly one of my lesser favorite fights from the organization. I actually do just kind of prefer his fight in Chain of Memories, even though it is very rage-inducing, because I just don't like how that he doesn't use his shield as, like, I mean, I like that it's actually different, but I also don't like that he just uses his shield as his attack in this fight. Like, I mean, he doesn't. Like, he just uses... But the coolest thing about this fight is 100%, no doubt, the fact that when he gets enough data from you, Anti-Form is unleashed. I love that. And I still really love this fight. It's still, like, all the organization fights are really good, in my opinion. Except Luxord is questionable, but yeah, this fight's awesome. His Desperation move, in my opinion, if you are not, using a limit to dodge it, is one of the hardest things to dodge ever. Like, that attack is brutal, like, absolutely brutal, first of all. But yeah, this fight just has a lot. I do like, again, as I said, the Chain of Memories version just a bit more, but this fight's still awesome. I just love, yeah, I really like this fight as well. I will say though, I think the Fire Cheese does make me dislike this fight a bit more, because he just, you know, it makes sense, but yeah, you can cheese him quite easy with fire. Though, this fight is still really awesome. The biggest struggle, in my opinion, of this fight is definitely Anti-Form. It definitely gets in the way, but yeah, number 27, Vexen. Number 26, the Final Fantasy crew. And this is the reason I had put them so low, because this is the best version. Can I just say, when I first saw this, I thought this was awesome. To be fighting Tifa, Cloud, Leon, and Yuffie all together, like the Final Fantasy team, is just awesome. I mean, it's mainly Final Fantasy 7 and then just Leon, but this is just such an, like, this is just awesome. You know, having all of them go on you is just crazy. They are quite weak, like, in the sense their health bars are all quite, you know, they're not, like, the strongest, so they're not too OP, which is probably for the best, but yeah, they're not that strong. Honestly, the reason it's probably not high is because you can kind of just cheese this fight with just using limit form, but like, this is still like just awesome. Like, the fact that this is in here is just, I always thought awesome. Out of these, I always have found the funnest to fight Tifa. I just love her freaking punching in her like blue ball like projectile. But yeah, this is just, it's just awesome. So number 26, Final Fantasy crew. On to 25. Number 25, Shan Yu. Now, this is kind of like the first proper boss that Sora fights. and he's actually the first Disney boss, and must I say, it's a really awesome boss. From defending the tower to Shan Yu's moves, this boss is awesome. Also, the Hawk being able to attack you is awesome. Like, this fight's a very good introduction fight for Sora, and it really is his first proper fight, and it's a really good first fight for him, and a very good first Disney fight. I don't know, the setting, it's a lot like the movie. I love that you have the Guardian, like you have to defeat the Heartless, destroying the door. They're actually quite easy to take care of, but yeah. Another thing I love is Shan Yu's attacks. The more damage you give him, the more his darkness increases. Also, the Hawk can be a little asshole, and honestly, I didn't realize how much of a pain he could actually be until I played critical mode. But yeah, that Hawk can be scary, like really scary. One of Shan Yu's coolest moves is his reaction command, which hopefully I can get, but it's of him and Sora clashing actually. Also, that up air you just saw, that actually reminds me a lot for some reason of Link's attack. I know that's quite random, but that attack's always reminded me of it. Yeah, see right here, this reaction command is awesome. Like, I've always loved that command. Always loved it. But yeah, this boss is just really decent. Like, I love his dark abilities, his sword abilities, and I just think he's just, the reason he's not high is merely the fact because he is the first kind of boss Sora. He's not too complicated in his moveset, and he's not too hard, but that's how I honestly would like it. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not complaining. But yeah, number 25, Shan Yu. Number 24, Xemnas Armor 2. Now, I love both Xemnas Armors, but this Xemnas Armor definitely takes the cake. And the reason it does is because this right here. I know some people might find it annoying, but I always found it cool that he, like, pushes you into the space rift, and then you have to, like, shoot the City Scoper against him. Like, say what you want, I always thought this was really cool in the boss fight. Like, really cool. So, I think this boss is definitely more of a struggle than his first Xemnas Armor, which I think is the point. The one thing I do like about Xemnas Armor better in like the first form is he uses the organization members, like, weapons as attacks, and unfortunately I don't really think he does that much in this one. Which is fine, but it's definitely a thing I really liked about Xemnas Armor 1 a lot. But yeah, that whole space part just, in my opinion, really, I don't know, puts this boss higher than Xemnas Armor 1. The reason it's not higher is because I just like the others more. It's not really much more, but yeah, this is just definitely, in my opinion, the better of the two Xemnas Armors. Number 23, MCP and Large Sark. Now, like Prison Keeper and other fights in this list that I said before, this is a fight I definitely hated as a kid, but I've definitely grown to really like and find this really fun. Sark himself is actually, in my opinion, always been easy, but sometimes out of nowhere he can just, like, you know, just mess you up. The biggest issue, like the biggest hard part in this fight, in my opinion, and it always has been, I've definitely gotten more used to it now, but it's definitely been the lasers for Sark. I mean, from the MCP. My biggest gripe against this fight is actually what you just saw. The limit always interferes with the laser attack, and I feel like I have to turn it off, otherwise it always will activate, which is so annoying. And also the fact of, that if Tron's dead, you can't even do that. That's my biggest gripe with this attack. But yeah, other than Sark, maybe every 1 or 2 times attacks can hit me, like just then, he's very, like, not a threat. As a kid he was, but yeah. This fight just really takes patience, and I used to think, oh, this fight's a bit too long, but I think it's just, that's how it's supposed to go. Otherwise this fight would be a bit too easy. Because this fight can stuff you up, especially if you're not patient. But yeah, definitely see, again, it happens. That is definitely my biggest issue with the fight. I do think it still drags on a bit, but I really do love just fighting the MCP and lasering him. But the whole limit getting in the interfere, I know you could just turn it off, but it's just something I feel like I wouldn't have to need to do because other fights don't do that. But I still do really love this fight. Also, yeah, the biggest issue, like the biggest obstacle in this fight is definitely the lasers. And especially when they just start coming constantly, it gets a bit brutal. Sark has the disc, that's pretty brutal, but Sark can actually, you can actually just get a wall pop up and knock Sark off with a limit attack, which is really cool. As you can see here, I feel like a lot of people don't know about this, but look. And then you can just instantly KO him. But yeah, this fight is honestly quite awesome, but as I've said, those few issues probably make it not get any higher. Like, just Tron and see, look, I'm gonna try and not get it, and it happens again. It's just, yeah, it's just, it really bugs me that that's a thing. I shouldn't have to take off my limit to make this fight less unbearably annoying. But yeah, that's number 23, MCP and Sark. Number 22, Grim Reaper Phase 2. Which it really does feel like the only Grim Reaper fight, because this one's way better. Now, I feel like people are gonna go on me hard and say, how is this fight so high? It's excruciating and horrible. And as I do still agree, still to this day, I find this fight very annoying. I do like the concept of it, getting the money and throwing it in. I'm sorry, I like the concept. I've always found this fight quite awesome, like, I can't lie. And it's definitely better than the first one. The first one's so boring, but this is another fight I used to hate, and I still do hate a bit, but I definitely like this fight a lot. Like, I would be lying if I said I did not like this fight. Like, I really would deadass be lying if I said, oh, this fight is annoying. I just love the design of him, especially in this form with like the 3 skulls around him. His attacks are quite brutal. The main thing is you really do just have to be very patient for this fight. Also, the fact that he's, you can't hit him literally until this, it's just awesome. Like, I don't know, I think this fight is just awesome. I definitely do not find this fight that hard. It's now, as I used to, I think it's more of just a patience game. The fact though, I will say this fight does this is a fight that really does overstay its welcome. I'm not gonna lie. Also, this limit attack, you get his own weapon, his grim weapon, and just yeet it in the air and knock him with it. I find it so, like, I find the concept of this fight so awesome. The construction, yes, it is, I will admit, definitely a bit tedious, and I can understand how this is, it kind of, I would say this is the most hated Heartless fight in Kingdom Hearts 2, definitely. But I don't know, I've always had this soft spot for this fight, because I just think the design, his attacks, the way he moved, like I don't know, I just really like this fight. I really, really like this fight. Also, not to say his desperation move is just awesome, like his final desperation move. Just everything about this fight is just awesome. Like, again, I just have not many negatives to say, and that's number 22, Grim Reaper. Number 21, Barbossa and his little lizard friend. Even though this lizard did nothing, this fight is pretty awesome and definitely better than Davy Jones in Kingdom Hearts 3. I feel like they did him a way better job. I love this like sneaky like shadow thing. I wish Mother Gothel's fight had a fight like this in Hearts 3. It would never happen. But I really like this fight. The only downfall I'm gonna say right now is you can easily cheese this fight with just using Blizzard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna just use Blizzard. I want to show his abilities, but he is very... That's probably... It's upsetting. If you don't know about it, it's fine, but yeah, you can cheese him with Blizzard unless he's in it. I must say, a thing about this fight, he's very unpredictable. I don't know any fight that is as unpredictable as Barbossa. Like, he has so many attacks where it's just like, what? Like, it just comes... You can't really predict his attacks at all. He kind of goes for it. He shoots you in the face, he slashes you, he does everything. Also, he has 2 reaction commands, which I find really cool, because I don't know many characters that have 2 reaction commands, as you saw one of them just there. One of the only downgrades is if you Jack dies, you actually lose. And that's a lot of time how I lost this fight, actually. But yeah, that's a downgrade. If Jack dies, you lose. I just love this fight. I think it's a really great boss fight. I just think, yeah, it's a really awesome. Definitely my favorite Pirates fight. And I just think it's great how they did the Pirates fight. The Lizard... Maybe the other downfall, the Lizard really doesn't do much. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's really cool to have the atmosphere showing that, you know, it can be dark and all, but honestly, the Lizard does not do much at all. Like, whatsoever. He just knock him out once and he's done. But yeah, this fight's just really awesome. The fact that you have 2 limits and just all his attacks are just awesome. Unfortunately, I got the exact same attack again, but yeah, just the fact that he even has 2 reaction commands, I've just found always really awesome. Oh, here's the other one, and here's the other one. Yeah, the fact that you have 2 limits is just awesome. But yeah, this fight overall is just really decent, and I think it's a really great Disney boss fight. On to number 20. Love Barbossa. Number 20, Saïx. Now, to finally fight this guy after him intimidating and being a douche for so long, must I just say, was very satisfying. This fight is just awesome, and it's number 20. The scenery for this fight, the battle like area, the heart moon in the back, him using the moon, like him, you know, thinking he would be a calm fighter because how he talks, and ending up being, you know, like a crazy, like aggressive fighter was just always such a cool little twist. This fight is just awesome, and he really fits for being the second last organization fight. The reason this is probably one of the lower organization fights is I do think he is still one a bit too easy. I do think for, you know, the second last, you know, proper fight, he should have been probably a bit more tough. I'm just gonna be honest, he should have been a bit more tough. But yeah, just the scenery and like his desperation move and everything, like he's just an awesome fight, to be honest. When he gets into his rage form, that's when this fight really shines, like it does. And when he just throws that thing, yeah, this fight he just goes all out. And you just have to tactic and try and use it against him. But yeah, this fight is just, it's awesome. I definitely do think critical does enhance the difficulty and funness of this fight. Because I just remember playing it for the first time as a kid, because, you know, I didn't play it on a hard difficulty. It just was never that hard, but it definitely has gotten like way harder. And a lot of the time it's just hard to get his limit, like his berserk form, you know, and get him out of it, but once you do, it is satisfying as hell, like really satisfying. Yeah, this fight's just awesome, and yeah, the reason again it's not a bit higher is because I do still think he other organization fights just have a bit more. Like I do weirdly I still do think he could have offered a bit more, even though this fight's still awesome. The scenery and his final desperation is awesome. It's just he's not that hard for being the second last organization fight, but still this fight's awesome, and like I really love it. Is there anything else to say? Yeah, I just think he's a really good fight before Xemnas, and you know, just as I said, finally beating his ass is just thing. And my favorite thing is just using his weapon against you. But it's also like, I just don't think Saïx, knowing how smart he is, would be that silly to let you use his weapon against him. But I guess he does. But yeah, number 20, Saïx. This fight visually, like the way he fights, the way he just shows his immaculate power. Yeah, just really awesome. Anyway, on to number 19, Darkthorn. Now just look at him with his Cardi B nails. This is definitely my favorite Heartless fight, and this after phase 1 is just such a cool reward. Also, it's quite weird because this is one of the only actual fights in Kingdom Hearts 2 that has a second phase to it. But let me tell you something, it's an awesome second phase. His attacks, him turning invisible, him being lethal, you know, his limit attacks. This fight is just awesome. Like, I love this, and it's definitely one of the best Heartless fights in not just Kingdom Hearts 2, because it is my favorite, but in the entire series. It's just so awesome. This and the Dark Ball together make for even cool, like, awesomer, but he's still awesome even without it. There's only one nitpick. I do think this fight is actually, I'm gonna say it, a bit too short in the sense he should definitely have had another health bar. Like, in my opinion, I always thought that, like, I always thought this guy should just have another health bar because his health was just too low. But other than that, I do love this fight. And that's the only thing. I also feel like Beast Limit can easily just cheese this and make this fight easy. But it's mainly for me, what gives this fight is the scenery, because the scenery is just awesome. Also, him being, like, I don't know, I just love it. Like, this fight really is just, it really is just so awesome. Like, I don't know what to say. Also, like, the limit attack for this fight is just also awesome. as you can see though, he can F you up. I kind of wanted to show, to be honest, like his attacks, but he doesn't really want to see you to be doing it. So, yeah, number 19, Darkthorn. Number 18, the first actual Xemnas fight, Xemnas 1. And let me just say, this fight's music, it really is one of my favorite music tracks in like the Kingdom Hearts series, and like it's a throwback to Kingdom Hearts 1. The scenery, just Sora vs Xemnas, this fight is just awesome. His laser comboing, like look at this, I love how his laser comboing, he just doesn't stop. Oh, he hasn't done it yet, but what he's doing right now is his city skyscraper thing. And what I love about this is you actually have 3 different attacks you can do. The third being the best one, though the hardest to execute, but I just find it so awesome that you have 3 in the first place. Like, it's just so awesome. Yeah, the music, just the skyscraper in general, his laser attacks, like, there's just a lot of cool stuff about this fight. One of the only issues is, it's not a big issue for me personally, but he does actually fall short on attacks. All he really has is his limit, like laser spam, which it is brutal. Like, it is definitely a brutal laser attack, but he runs short. Otherwise, this fight's really cool. I just think this is quite an easy fight, which I don't mind because this is the first actual Xemnas fight, but yeah, that's probably why it's not harder, because I do like the others because they just do have more challenge and more strategies to it, while this is pretty easy to keep it quite honest. Unfortunately, he doesn't want to show his laser his laser beam spam attack, but that is one of the coolest things about this track, to be completely honest. Yeah, the music, again, as I said, is definitely one of the highlights, well, at least for me, definitely one of the highlights for this fight. Oh, here's his laser attack. So this attack is actually quite easy to dodge, but it's just so cool. Him just, like, he's doing like a laser, it looks like he's doing like a ritual dance. Yeah, so the reason it doesn't go any higher is because he doesn't have that much actually going for him in this fight for abilities, but don't get me wrong, this is still just an awesome introduction to Xemnas, and it's a great first fight for the final section of this game. Number 17, Oogie Boogie! Now, one thing I love, and I think we can all agree love about the Oogie fights in Kingdom Hearts, the Kingdom Hearts series, they're all just so quirky. And someone said this once, and they said he feels like a Nintendo boss, and I feel like I really get what they mean, especially in this fight, because it's kind of like 3 hits, because you have to knock the glass down 3 hits before and then you basically kill him. Out of all the Oogie Boogie fights in the series, this is definitely probably my favorite, just because it's actually quite challenging, I feel like, especially on like a level 1 run. Like, you have to relearn this fight because everything killed you in 1 hit. I just really do love this fight. The Return of Memories Oogie Boogie fight was definitely kind of trash. Like, that one was so easy, and I did like the Kingdom Hearts 1 version, and funnily enough, I struggled in that one a lot, but not as much as Kingdom Hearts 2's on level 1, or when I was younger. I just love how every phase he brings something new. So the first phase is just this, which it's not that scary now, but if you're low level, which see I kind of appreciate this fight more on low level, but when you're low level, that shit kills, like the hammer kills you phase 1. But the thing that really is brutal about this phase, I feel like, about this fight the most, is the Heartless. I mean, I hate it, but I also love it because it's challenge. I usually just run away, but those Wind Heartless can mess you up. Like, no joke, can F your shit up. Like, see, as sometimes I just try to escape from them, like, because they're that thing. Also, I love going through these squares to just get it. Like, I don't know, I love the gimmick of this fight. The reason it's not any higher, probably, I don't know, probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe because, maybe he could have had 1 or 2 more, like, objects to use against you, but, I mean, that's just a little nitpick. Like, still love this fight. Like, I don't really have much bad to say. It's definitely, in my opinion, the best Oogie Boogie fight, for sure. Like, I don't know, just using, yeah, just it really is like a 3-hit scenario. I do find it a bit weird that they make him invincible. I know that's for a reason, but it kind of feels weird. Like, why can I not fight this bag of bugs now? Also, the spikes at the back are awesome. Weirdly enough, though, maybe a little complaint is the lightning phase, which comes in the last phase, is weirdly the easiest kind of, in my opinion, part of this fight. The struggle part of this fight was always the Heartless and this punching thing, which it is weird because why would you leave the hardest thing, the easiest thing to last, you know what I mean? But yeah, the only rage thing I love it but hate it really is the Heartless. But yeah, I love this fight. I love the uniqueness of it. I love how different it is to any other fight in the series, and it's definitely my favorite Oogie Boogie fight in the series. So on to number 6. Number 16, Twilight Thorn, also known as the better Darkseid. Now this fight is just... It's funny how this, to me, is the best fight that is, like, not a... Like, it's a nobody. It's the only nobody boss fight, but it's actually, in my opinion, better than all the Heartless boss fights. Not saying the Heartless boss fights are bad, but this fight is just so awesome. And it's definitely the best... I think the best introduction boss fight in the Kingdom Hearts series. Because Kingdom Hearts 1 had Darkseid, which is eh. 3, they used Darkseid again, which is really boring and lame for them to do that. Yeah, and then, like, just comparing to the others, it's definitely the best introduction boss fight. This fight is just absolutely amazing. It shows everything it wants, like, it shows everything. On critical, this guy can give you trouble, by the way. Like, you may not beat him first try, like, he actually is not that easy of a boss, which I actually love. Like, this guy's not that easy. He's just such a great nobody. And there's no real complaint. I think the only complaint is what you saw before the reaction, where I have to wait for him to come and, like, do the reaction was a bit long. But that's not a big deal at all. It's just the only other complaint is I wish there were more nobody boss fights in Kingdom Hearts 2, because this, yes, we fight the organization, but you know what I mean, like creatures like this, because this really is the best nobody fight in this game. Like, it's just so awesome. Like, his moves, the way he moves, like, it's just so cool. There's also so many attacks that this guy has that I remember this one attack where I don't know if he's gonna show it, but he turns into a UFO, and like, I didn't even realize that was attacked for so long. Also, he summons these little nobody friends. I forgot. I don't think they're called creepers. These are like my least favorite nobodies, but he still has like these guys help. The reaction command is just awesome. You know, Rox is swinging the Keyblade. Also, another cool thing, you can finish this guy on a reaction command where it looks like he cracks his neck, like snaps his neck, and it's just, that to me is just awesome. But yeah, this is just like the best big fight in this game, like the best like creature fight. You know, like the Heartless, or like this really is, and it's not even Heartless, the one that's not. This fight is just really strong, and I love how you use the reversal. Yeah, I really do not have anything bad to say about this fight, other than maybe waiting on that plate too long to get that reaction command. But other than that, this fight is great. Also, I noticed he uses the same thing as Xemnas does to, like, he forces you to use a reaction command. I'm hoping right here I can actually get the, neck snap, but if I don't, I can just keep talking. The scenery, like it's just, it really is a great fight. Maybe the music, I feel like, doesn't suit this fight too much. I feel like another soundtrack could have suited this more, but it's not a big deal. This part right here where Roxas snaps his head is awesome. And like, it still really isn't that long, but this is the only complaint. See, this part, like, I feel like, oh, see, that was fast. Sometimes that part can be quite, like, it took like 7 seconds or anything. Also, there's this Kamehameha moment with this big ball he has, just awesome. Like, everything about this fight is awesome. From the design, let's see if we get that neck snap. We probably won't, but let's see. We didn't, but like, yeah, just everything about this fight is just, like, it's just a great fight, and that's why it's number 16. On to number 15. Number 15, Genie Jafar. Now, I already know people are going to be like, whoa, this is high, because I feel like this fight is definitely acclaimed the best Jafar fight, but I still don't think it's that popular. But I really like this fight, from this, like, the battle skybox, you know, destroyed Agrabah, to his moveset. This is 100% the best Jafar. I actually also, personally, I know this is very unpopular, I actually do personally like the carpet controls. Also, Gobba 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 ga. That in itself is just amazing. Also, I love the reaction commands. It's so silly, but part of me just loves that you like roll him up. Like, oh, I feel like just since the other Genie Jafar fights in Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 1 are so, I'm just gonna be honest, very bad. Especially the Genie Jafar. Very like one of the worst fights, the most disappointing fights. It's good to have a Jafar fight where I feel like it's challenging, it actually attacks properly. Yeah, I feel like this fight is like kind of mixed. Either people love it or people kind of hate this fight. And I'm definitely in the part of love it. The hardest part of this fight is definitely when he spams those fireballs and lightning. Like that can actually be quite brutal. Also, I actually gained a lot of respect for this fight on level 1. And I know I shouldn't use level 1 for stuff, but since I've done level 1, I will. This fight is actually way more tactical if you're doing level 1. If you're just doing it in a normal let's play, this fight you may die once, twice, or beat it first try, but in general, it's not going to give you that much of a struggle. But level 1, it really made me appreciate this fight more, because you actually just have to be patient and know what you're doing. Yeah, this fight, as you can see right now, is quite easy. I think it's because I'm low level, but yeah, it's quite easy. But I really love this fight. Like, I love the look at the skybox. Honestly, this part right here is intense, and his desperation move is like very scenically cool. But gameplay wise, to be honest, it's not the most fun. Like, it's quite annoying. That's probably my biggest issue with this fight. But yeah, this is definitely a fight I feel like is not that popular, but I really love Genie Jafar, and maybe this is a bit too high, but I don't know, I just really enjoyed this fight. So number 15, Genie Jafar. On to number freaking 14. Number 14, Lexaeus, the man who has power over 9,000. Now this part, like at this point in the list, we're gonna get a lot of organization fights, so I truly do think this is like organization fights are some of the best. But number 14, Lexaeus, he's just, I love just the, like even just the, like he just is really intimidating because you can just kind of see the scariness in his power. Yeah, I just love that he's over 9,000. I love his like earth attacks. He just reflect is definitely the key for this fight, I feel like. At least for me, like that's how I cope with it. His desperation move, just his attacks, sometimes like he does a lot of damage, and then the more power he has, and then this attack right here where he just slams you to the floor, brutal. But yeah, the more power this guy has, the more brutal he becomes. Like it. Oh, see, like look at this, like boom, like this guy gives no shits whatsoever. Like he does not care. If you're in his way, he's gonna make sure you get hurt. This here is my favorite attack. He goes like a meteor and just crushes onto like the surface. It's just so awesome. Like just the look of his attacks are just amazing. Like, so I just love how he fights and like just the way he uses his brute strength. The only diss is this probably is one of the more easy organization fights, but his data fight and his absence silhouette fight are around the same level of difficulty in my opinion. You just have to really watch out for strength, and I just love how his aura grows the more like angry he gets, and you can just see his power growing. But like yeah, I just love how his aura grows. The best way to counter him is using the chance attack, which a lot of people don't know, but yeah, that is the best way to counter attack him. But yeah, I just love like the sheer strength. Like look, oh, especially to the end of the fight, I feel like the fight gets very enjoyable. But yeah, number 14, Lexaeus. On to number 13. Number 13, the Cloak Schemer and the powerhouse of illusions. Now this guy isn't that powerful in strength, but Zexion just masters in illusions, and this fight shows it off so well. And even though this fight can be, I think we can all agree, rage inducing, it also just, I love it. Him capturing you into the book has always been annoying, and you having to like kind of like get Donald and Goofy out. I've always found that quite fun. After a while, it doesn't matter. He usually just traps you all in, but at the start, you can try and get your damage in, which is good. I think this fight, the only downfall, I'll just say now, and then I'll get to the positives, is it sometimes, he's a bit unpredictable, and it sometimes does feel unfair, but I feel like that is kind of the vibe it's going for. But other than that, this fight's amazing. I love the illusions. I just love the look of it. I just love the illusions aspect, basically. Like, I loved that idea. Like his Rechain and Kingdom Hearts 2 fight are very equal to me, but this one may just take the cake because I feel like the illusions aspect definitely shines more in this one. I mean, I feel like people may disagree, but I definitely, for me, it comes across more that it shines in this one. This book part is very, can be very struggling. And he's, honestly hard in both Data and Absent Silhouette. I feel like Absent Silhouette, if you're low level, and then Data, doesn't matter what level, he's gonna be a pain, either way. Yeah, this guy is gonna be a pain. See how he captured me? Bullshit. Yeah, this fight can be really bullshit, but I also, very fun at the same time. So, you know, it's all, one thing I love is him changing your commands. I love that. It's just funny how weak he actually is, but I feel like that, again, is kind of what you want. I kind of want the weakness. That's kind of what I expect. The books definitely do get annoying, juggling you around and all that. That definitely does start to, annoy me. But, because especially since it's so unpredictable, but I also really like it. My favorite part of the fight, though, probably does have to go to his, desperation part. His desperation part, you just go in this ring of lights, and then what happens is you have to go in the right lights so you don't actually die, because if you go in the red part, it's basically an instant kill, especially if you don't have second chance or once more. It is practically an instant kill. But yeah, the reason I really just do, as I've said, this fight is because it just does feel so different, and it just feels really appropriate for Zexion. I've always thought this fight is very what a Zexion fight should be, and I love the battle arena. I love his abilities, and I think this fight is just good for what it's supposed to be. See, right here, this is the part, I love this desperation move part, but the only thing is, if you're in the wrong part, you're done for. You are done for. There's no going back. But yeah, number 13, Zexion. On to number 12.
Silence, traitor.
Number 12, Demyx. Now, I think we can agree, this guy was definitely the first, for me as a kid, the first fight in this game that got me stuck for hours and hours. Now this fight is, quite easy to me, that I know what I'm doing, but I mean, come on. I know people find this fight annoying, but it's iconic. The dance, what a dance. His attacks. I love the way he moves. I love his moves. I just think this fight is iconic. And it's definitely, I feel for a lot of people, the first proper wall, wall for Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, there's definitely some fights before this, but I feel for first-time players, this is definitely the first proper wall for a lot of players. Maybe some people do this quite easy, but if you're doing critical, harder difficulty, this is definitely not easy. And it's not easy for a first-time playthrough, unless you're quite over-leveled, or you're just somehow really good the first time around. But yeah, this fight's just great. The battle area, honestly, he's your first actual organization member you defeat in this game. It's a great feeling finally defeating one of the organization members, and him being the first one just makes sense. I also love just the cutscene before this. He just loses it, and you know he's gonna be trouble. Sora and Donald and Goofy low-key were kind of picking on him, and he's just silence, traitor, you're not gonna do this to me. Yeah, honestly, this fight is just awesome. My favorite part of this is his desperation move, just those pillars. I just love his bubbles, his reaction command. The dance on the dance, weirdly as a kid, was so hard for me. Now it's really easy. Now, even though I'm not gonna including data fights and normal fight, I definitely prefer the normal fight, because the data fight is just annoying. Because I feel like the data fight, you just need elixirs to even have a chance with the fight. One of the best cheeses, well not cheese, but one of the best tactics is fire and reflect. I just think everyone can agree that it just helps. Honestly, I struggled on this so much, but now this fight is just so, like, it's quite easy for me. But yeah, as a kid, this fight was nothing easy. I'll just say that much. It was nothing easy. Yeah, is that much more? Yeah, it's just definitely the first one, and it's just like a great fight. And funnily enough, this is actually the only Hollow Bastion fight in this game. But yeah, number 13 is Demyx. I mean, number 12 is Demyx, sorry, number 12. On to number 11. Love this fight, honestly. It's just such a great fight. Like, I don't know, I really love this fight. There's nothing, it just has everything. Everything. It can be annoying, and I definitely prefer the normal fight, but I just love this fight. I love how he uses the water and everything. And by Demyx. On to number 11. Number 11, Xigbar. Just not making the top 10. I love this fight. I mean, I love Xigbar, definitely one of my favorite organizations. His battle quotes are definitely, in my opinion, probably the most memorable out of any boss fight in Kingdom Hearts 2. Being the first time you really fight Xigbar, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, he's still like not that known, but like you just know this guy's cool. The fact that he's a sniper is just always, and I mean just always, been so cool to me. Like I love that he snipes. I mean, I love that he changes the battleground. His desperation move is probably my favorite visually. It just looks absolutely like awesome. Like, I love that about that fight. Like, his desperation move just looks like, it really does just look amazing. See, this desperation move here is brutal. Like, it really is brutal, but I mean, I do love it. I do. See, look at this. Just insane. Desperation move is just insane. I love just, you know, parrying his shots. Like, it feels satisfying when it actually hits him. Doing this, you have to, like, yeah, this fight just didn't make the top 10. I was really, between number 10 and 11, I was like, should Xigbar make the top 10? But it just didn't make the top 10. I don't really have that much of a nitpick of the fight. I was gonna say, like, weakness, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really think he has any, I think he's just, at this point, the bosses are just great. It really just comes down to knowing to what I like more. Maybe if anything, I feel like these blue shots can sometimes the reaction command doesn't pop up for it, which can be quite frustrating. But other than that, I think it doesn't really, there's not really an issue with it, to be honest. Yeah, this fight is just great to me. Like, there's nothing that bad about it. I've always loved this fight, and it's just definitely one of the best organization fights, and I just love the sniping aspect. I've just always loved this battle fight. So yeah, number 11, Xigbar. On to number 10. Absolutely love this fight. Like, also, it's just like the battle stage, also being your first fight in the castle, and just, he's definitely my favorite fight in the castle. That's not in the final boss section. But yeah, number 11, Xigbar. On to number 10.